A temporary win now for the White House after an appeals court delays a ruling from the Court of International Trade blocking the president's global tariffs on trade partners. The stock market responding to news on tariffs, closing higher to end the day, although a bit of whiplash, that's for sure. This three-judge panel had struck down Trump's sweeping tariffs yesterday as, quote, contrary to law, saying that the president does not have the power to unilaterally impose some levies. A second federal court today had also determined the global tariffs were unlawful. Well, the White House arguing earlier that enforcement of that ruling would cause, quote, a foreign policy disaster scenario. Take a listen.
Three judges of the U.S. Court of International Trade disagreed and brazenly abused their judicial power to usurp the authority of President Trump to stop him from carrying out the mandate that the American people gave him. America cannot function if President Trump, or any other president for that matter, has their sensitive diplomatic or trade negotiations railroaded by activist judges.
Well, for more, I want to bring in ABC News' Christian Cordero and Justin Wolfers. He's a professor of public policy and economics at the University of Michigan. Wonderful to see you both. And look, Christian, it's been hard to keep up with all of this. The court's now knocking down the tariffs, but then this appeals court is weighing in here. So what's the latest on that move?
Hard to keep up with, Kana, but we have become somewhat used to the back and forth, right? So let's just kind of boil it down to the simple timeline. This ruling from the Court of International Trade was issued yesterday, immediately after the Trump administration appealed that ruling. And in the time since, they have even gone so far as to say that not putting a stay on this ruling and enforcing it would be a national security threat, because there are active negotiations happening right now with major trading partners. And this ruling, if enforced, the administration argues would undermine the president's power in those negotiations. So the administration essentially got what it was asking for, as the appeals court has now stepped in and said, we're going to put the brakes on this for now as we consider the administration's argument.
And while they consider that, I mean, the trade policy is dependent on all of this, Justin, and the uncertainty around this tariff news. We know it's been hard on businesses, particularly small businesses. How does this whiplash ultimately impact the American economy?
The simple answer is, for anyone who's trying to do international business, whether it's that your suppliers are abroad or your customers are abroad or your suppliers' suppliers are abroad, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's coming tomorrow. And as a result, the single most obvious reflex for any CEO is, if they had expansion plans, they're probably going to go ahead and put them on hold. It's best to wait and see where things are going to end up than to invest a lot of money today and learn that in a few short months the tariff environment could be such as to make your investment uneconomic.
So, Christian, while business leaders are wondering how to make sound investments, right, and plan for the future, the Trump administration really doesn't appear to be backing down at any point soon. Do we have any idea what we expect next from the administration?
There are two things that will be really interesting to look out for. One is, it's worth noting that some of the president's tariffs have stayed in place, right? Tariffs on steel and aluminum, automobiles. And so what the court decided here specifically was the act that the president used to impose these sweeping tariffs on major trading partners was not the correct method to do that. So there is a window possibly where he could work around that act and kind of go towards some of the methods that he has used in the past. That's one thing that we could get from the administration in the near future. The other thing, Kana, that would be really interesting is, what if in the next days or weeks even, there is a deal, a significant one from, between the U.S. and China, the U.S. and the European Union, and how would that shake out?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're looking at June 9th here as they start to consider all this as a date on our calendar. But also, Justin, what does this do for foreign policy and those kinds of negotiations?
Yeah, so exactly the issue that was just mentioned. There's not a hope in hell that anyone's going to strike a deal with the United States right now. They don't know what it is that the president's threatening, and they don't know what it is that the president could. They don't know what leverage the United States has, and so they would be absolutely crazy to give anything up based on a guess about the leverage that the US has. The courts are going to make this clear awfully soon. It's not that long ago we were promised 90 deals in 90 days. It's now 48 days later and we've got zero. And my guess is we're going to end up at 90 days still with very close to zero deals.